Good evening, Annie Rivas here, and I'm going to do a speech on nonverbal communication, presentational communication. I got to choose a topic, and my topic was body posture and body language. But first, we're going to get into what nonverbal communication means. So nonverbal communication is how we physically carry ourselves with nonverbal clues and innuendos, such as communicating through body language, also through hand gestures, also through facial expressions. The space given between an audience and a speaker can also influence the nonverbal communication. Stuff like that is what is considered nonverbal communication. So we are going to dive into the body language and the posture and the importance of that as seen on the slide that is attached to my assignment. So posture is how we stand. It is how our body is ejected. We could slouch, we can lay back, we can act relaxed, or we can stand erect. We can seem open, we can seem alert, and that is posture. Body language falls very similar to posture because body language is how we move our body. It's our expressions through our hands, our shoulders, whether we're sitting, slouching, that's our body language. So body language and posture go hand in hand. The reason why it is important to make sure you maintain a good posture and good body language during a speech is because this can set the tone for your speech. If you seemed closed off and you're just like, oh yeah, so I'm doing this speech on the solar system, but I really don't care about it. It's just I'm doing the speech. There's 9 planets and life is great. That alone, your body posture, it doesn't even matter what you say. Seeing your body posture like that affects how people hear you. Even though slouching and looking around isn't something you're saying, it's something you're doing, it still affects the delivery of your speech, and it affects the effectiveness and the attention to your audience and the lack thereof attention of your audience. Because if you seem like you are uninterested in your own topic, people are not going to be inclined to listen to what you have to say. That is why it is very important to try to stay aware of how you are carrying yourself. Now, that brings us to a good point, being aware, being alert. So a lot of nonverbal communication is done subconsciously. A lot of how we carry ourselves and how we move in our facial expressions, that is typically done subconsciously. So to have good nonverbal communication during a speech, you need to be conscious. You need to be alert. And you need to be aware of what you are doing with your body. It is not just a conversation you're having at home with your mom. No, this is a speech and you're doing it in front of an audience. So during the time of your speech at least is when you should be most aware and most alert of your body language. My tips of improving body language is to always be aware of where your hands are at. So as long as your hands are not like this and closed off, then that is already a step in the right direction of your posture and body language. Another one is make sure your shoulders are back. You like to be alert. Be aware of when you cross your arms. And then another thing that I would like to suggest is always have a go-to stance for if the nerves do kick in and if you find yourself getting a little unsteady, have a go-to stance in your head. Mine would be to stand with my hands to my side, but not completely straight down, a little bend in the elbow. That is my go-to stance because that is where I feel comfortable, and I also feel it does not look as if I'm closed off, nor does it give the impression that I'm completely open and comfortable, which is probably not the greatest thing, but it does allow people to be comfortable with me because I'm not closed off. So I say this, and I chose this topic because I feel like it is very easy to get lost in your body language. But if you do notice that you have an issue with how you carry yourself, how you stand, and how you move your body during a speech, you need to recognize that and follow any tips you find online, or maybe some tips that I have mentioned maybe benefit to follow and to learn. So that's all I have on nonverbal communication. My name is Annie Rivas, and I hope you enjoyed my speech on posture and body language and why it is important to improve those during the delivery of a speech.